U.S.A. Sunnyvale, the city in the district Santa Clara of the state of California, the U.S.A. Population 140,081 persons. 2010. It is one of the large cities of Silicon Valley. In the territory of the city, the station of the United States Air Force Onizuka is located. The base called in honor of the astronaut, the crew member of the lost Ellison Onitzik Challenger spaceship, is also primary station of satellite observation of military forces of the United States. Sunnyvale is one of the few cities of the United States which have department of a single system of public security where all personnel are trained as firefighters, police officers and medics at the same time, thus they can participate in liquidation of any emergency situations. Sunnyvale takes the 18th place in the rating of the safe cities of the U.S.A. 2005. Geographical coordinates: Sunnyvale 37A, N and 122A, Albel. Sunnyvale borders on the Gulf San Francisco from the north, with the city of Mountain View in the west, with the cities of Santa Clara and San Jose in the east, and with the city of Cupertino from the south. The southern part of Sunnyvale, areas adjoining on the cities of Cupertino and Los Altos, and also the southern part of Fremont Avenue, usually are considered as the best and the most expensive. Concerning real estate prices, a part of the city, according to the Land Registry of the U.S.A., the city occupies the space of 58.6 km, from which 55.8 km the earth and 1.8 km makes 3.05% surface of the water. The city is located at the height of 39 m above sea level. Climate. On May 4, 1998, Sunnyvale during a strong thunderstorm got under impact of an atypical tornado of Category F which caused considerable destructions, from which damage was about $4 million. Tornadoes are very seldom observed near the Gulf San Francisco, and it is especially strange. This A tornado had anticyclonic rotation. History. When Spaniards for the first time arrived in the Valley Santa Clara in 1770, these lands were quite densely populated with Indian tribes of Anolona. In 1777, forces of the Indians of Anolona converted to Christianity here, based the Mission Santa Clara. In 1842, the Ranch Pastoria, Las Borges, was allocated to Estrada and Inés Castro. On a part of these lands there were cities of Mountain View and Sunnyvale subsequently. 2 years later, other allotment was allocated for management to one of the few indigenous Americans, Lupinigo. Its earth was called in the beginning the Posolmi Ranch, in honor of the Indian village which was located on these lands earlier. The Posolmi Ranch was later renamed into Yanigo's Ranch. In 1844, Martin Murphy and Mary Murphy performed a travel in the tilt cart on the Californian Way and completely crossed a mountain ridge, Sierra Nevada. In 1850, Martin Murphy purchased the land plot in the territory of the Ranch Pastoria, Las Borges for $12000.
Murphy based the farm specializing in cultivation of wheat and also laid the foundation for the settlement of Bayview.
After Murphy's death in 1884, its lands were divided between his successors.
In 1860, the railroad San Francisco and San Jose compounded about creation of the railway station Murphy that led to laying of a railway track to the Bayview.
Later, on the southern border of the Bayview, one more railway station, Lawrence, was created. In the 1870th tax policy, important degradation of the soil led to the fact that grain farms became unprofitable in the territory of the district Santa Clara. Small fruit farms succeeded big grain farms. In 1871, James and Eloise Dawson founded fruit cannery in the area Santa Clara. Gardening and conservation soon became the dominating industry in this area.
The invention of railway cars refrigerators strengthened positions of farms of the fruit which are engaged in cultivation even more.
Fruit farms became so widespread that in 1886 the Chamber of Commerce of San Jose called the district Santa Clara the World Garden.
In the 1880th years of 48% of works on farms and garden farms of the district Santa Clara the Chinese workers carried out.
This percent considerably decreased after adoption of the Act of Prohibition of the Chinese immigration. In the next 10 years, considerable inflow of immigrants from Italy, the Azores and Japan, which replaced Chinese at agricultural works, was observed. In 1897, Walter Everett Crossman purchased 200 acres of lands with the purpose to be engaged in trade in the real estate. He advertised this territory as Magnificent Murphy. Later, in the 1900s, the initiator of trade in the real estate called this earth the City of Destiny. Also in 1897, Ensign School was open, which became the first school open in Murphy. Till this time, city children went to school to the neighboring city of Mountain View. In 1901, Murphy's inhabitants were notified that they cannot use more a name and sign or Murphy for local post office. Then was decided to give to the city a new name, Sunnyvale.
Sunnyvale continued to grow when in 1904 the period of rapid development of the company's own production of dried fruit began.
In 1906, the plant on production of metal products of Joshua Hendy was moved from San Francisco to Sunnyvale after the building of the company was destroyed by the fire as a result of an earthquake of 1906. This plant was the first non-agricultural enterprise in the city. Soon Joshua Hendy's plant passed from production of the mountain equipment to production of such high-tech products as ship steam engines. In the same year, Libby, McNeil and Libby, the Chicago company which is engaged in packing of meat products, decides to open factory on packing of fruit in Sunnyvale. Today the water tower painted as well as the first fruit can of Libby designates location of old factory. In 1912, as a result of the general vote of inhabitants, Sunnyvale was officially approved in the status of the city. In 1925 the Freeman School was open. Up to this point in the territory of school the military base functioned. The planes going to the airfield Moffett stopped for refueling here.
In the territory of school until now there are buildings of old military style, including a hangar in which classes are now given and fight.
In 1930 the Congress decided to place base of airships of the West Bank in Sunnyvale. This naval air base was renamed into Federal Airfield Moffett later.
During World War II the requirement of economy of the military period led to the fact that agrarian farms in the district Santa Clara gave way to the high-tech industry.
Steamship engines, ship tools and rocket installations for support of military potential gathered in shops of the plant of Joshua Hendy. With growth of the defensive industry, labor shortage in the agricultural sector began to increase, but this shortage was filled soon by emigrants from Mexico arrived in Sunnyvale. After-war gardens of fruit farms and the field where corn was grown up, were cleaned for building of new houses and offices.
In 1956 the aircraft Lockheed Company transferred the headquarters to Sunnyvale.
In 1969 in Sunnyvale the AMD company, which is engaged in microelectronics, was founded. Now AMD is a main competitor of the Intel company in the market of production of microprocessor. In 2003 mostly remained gardening farms which were owned by Olson were liquidated in connection with construction of shopping center. The last site of gardening economy in Sunnyvale is located now at once behind the Park Las Palmas. However, also its liquidation for use of the earth under building by houses and shops is planned. But nevertheless there are many gardens which are city property, for example a garden around the city cultural center. Industry. In Sunnyvale, as in the geographical center of Silicon Valley, there is a number of head offices of the companies of high technologies, such as Juniper Networks, AMD, Palm Inc., Network Appliance Expansion, Yahoo, Fortinet and Ariba. In the city several space and defense companies such as are also placed. Lockheed Martin, the biggest office of the company. Honeywell, Northrop Grumman. In its territory the Museum Hendy Ironworks is located. Spirent Communications also has office in Sunnyvale. In Sunnyvale, also partially on border from Mountain View, the research center NASA of Joseph Ames on studying of the Moon and Mars is located. According to a census of 2010 in Sunnyvale lived 140,081 persons and there were 53384 households. 35553 families live in the city. Population density is made by 2,383.8 person/km. In the territory of the city are located 55791 residential constructions with an average density of placement of 949.4. Construction/km. Racial distribution of the population: 43.0% white, 2.0% Afro-Americans, 0.5% Indians, 40.9% Asians, 0.5% natives of the Pacific Islands, 8.7% representatives of other races, 4.5% representatives of two and more races, 18.9% Spanish-speaking or Latin Americans of various races, 34.5% not Spanish-speaking white. In total there are 53384 households, from which 18614 34.9%. Have children aged up to 18 years which live with parents. From all number of households of 53.5%, it is the share of the married couples living in common, the women living without husbands, 4.4%, the men living without wives contain 8.7% of houses, 4.5% of the share of officially not registered married couples, 0.7% of the share of in common living same-gender pairs.
To 25.2% of houses singles live, and in 7.1% of cases lonely elderly people at the age of 65 years live and are more senior.
The average size of a household minus 2.61 persons, the average size of family minus 3.15 persons. Average age of the population of 35.6 years. On each 100 women 18 years or aged more senior 100. 9 men are necessary. According to a census of 2000, 131,760 people lived in Sunnyvale and there were 52539 households. 32679 families live in the city.
Population density is made by 2,318.7 persons/km.
In the territory of the city, 53753 residential constructions with an average density of placement of 946 are located. Construction/km. Racial distribution of the population. 53.27% white, 2.22% Afro-Americans, 0.46% Indians, 27% Asians, 0.32% natives of the Pacific Islands, 7.19% representatives of other races, 4.25% representatives of 2 and more races, 15.48% Spanish-speaking or Latin Americans of various races. From 52539 households of 27.6% have children aged up to 18 years which live with parents, 50% from married couples live together, women whose husbands live separately contain 8.2% of houses, and in 37.8% of households have no family. 227.
1% of houses singles live, and in 6.4% cases lonely elderly people at the age of 65 years live and are more senior.
On average, 2.49 persons, the average size of family of 3.06 people live in one house. Average age of the population 34 years. On each 100 women is aged more senior 18, 106.5 men are necessary. Average income on the house was $74409 a year. Average income on family was $81634 a year.
The man had the average income of $65165 a year, whereas the average income of the woman was $43051 a year.
If to divide annual city earnings into the number of inhabitants, then average income on the inhabitant of $36524 a year will be gained.
About 5.4% of the population of the city are below the poverty line, from them children aged up to 18 years, and 5.2% elderly people at the age of 65 years and are more senior than 5.5%.
City transport. Sunnyvale is served by U.S.A Transport Company, which possesses network of the high-speed tram and bus lines, which is also connected with Caltrain local trains, in which financing the company also participates.
Through the city there pass highways CA-85, US-101, CA-237 and A-280, and a segment of highway CA-82 which repeats a route along which historical El Camino Railroad.
The Royal Road. Lay.
Bronze level in the list of League of the American Cyclists is appropriated to Sunnyvale.
Many city roads are equipped with bicycle paths, road signals the activated cyclists. City public transport is equipped with special devices for transportation of bicycles. The Committee of Assistance to Pedestrians and Cyclists constantly works together with municipality in the field of maintenance and development of infrastructure for cyclists. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.